Good morning and welcome to the mat on this nice, luckily 84-degree Mississippi summer morning. Today we'll be doing about a 30-minute flow with some breath work incorporated into the flow. Some of the poses, if they're a little difficult, you can always drop your knees and plank, or just go to child's pose and breathe and then join back in. Remember, never overextend your body to what it cannot handle. And we'll begin with some Kapalbhati breath work, which is also known as skull shining breath. This breath work is you're breathing out and not so much breathing in. And it's kind of a rapid breathing session. We'll start out with 20 breaths. Take a couple of nice deep breaths between, and then we'll do 30 breaths. And take a couple nice breaths between, and then we'll do 40. If you have high blood pressure, I recommend that you don't do this practice. You just sit in this seated posture and just breathe normally. And we'll begin. It begins, place your hand on your stomach. That way you feel the force of the air coming out. And we'll begin with 20. Big breath in, and then big breath out. Another big breath in, and a nice big breath out. And let's begin a round of 30. Big breath in, and then begin. Big breath in, and a big breath out. Big breath in, and a big breath out. The last round of 40. And begin. Big breath in, big breath out. Big breath in, and big breath out. You might have just a tiny little bitty dizziness feel. This is skull shining breath. It cleans out the toxins and fills the brain back with oxygen. Gives you clarity and a clear vision on your thought process. And also helps to get rid of any kind of negativity, any kind of negative thoughts inside of you that might be ruminating inside of your brain. Today we will begin in a tabletop position. We'll just get back on your toes, and we're going to slowly rock back and work out the wrist just a little bit, back and forth. We're always putting a lot of work on our wrist, especially labor-wise. And then we come to the mat, we're using our wrist a lot just to support our bodies through our yoga asanas. You can roll it around if you like, different directions. Just notice the feel inside of the wrist. No pain, no pinches. Then reverse your flow. Ease back, and then back in the tabletop. Now we're going to scoot our knees back just a little bit, come up on your toes, and we're going to push into our first downward facing dog. You can feel a little bit of stiffness behind the knees, in the calves. Just walk it out or rock side to side, whatever's comfortable for you.
You can keep a slight bend in your knee. It's not so important to straighten your legs. It's a little more important to have a nice long straight line from your hands to your hips. Keep the hands flat into the mat. Take a nice big in breath. And then a lion's breath out. One more. For the power of 3, let's do one more. Now let's roll your body up into a plank position. To modify, you can drop your knees down to the mat. And tilt forward and Chaturanga Dandasana all the way to the mat. Cobra, or upward facing dog. Breathe in. And then exhale, push back up into a downward facing dog. We're going to slowly start warming up the body just a little bit. Let's roll your body back forward into a plank position. Remember to modify is to drop your knees. And then tilt forward on your toes. Chaturanga all the way to the mat. Slowly letting the elbows shave the ribs. Breathe in, Cobra, or upward facing dog. And then exhale into downward facing dog. For the power of 3, let's roll one more time up into a plank position. And then Chaturanga Dandasana all the way to the mat. Cobra. And then push up into a downward facing dog. Now we've got those 3 little mild warm-ups in. Let's breathe in, push back up through the hips, and then slowly walk forward to the front of the mat. Into a nice deep forward fold. Breathe in, come halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, round the arms all the way up to the sky. Palms together. And sit here and breathe. Breathe in, reach up. And then exhale, lean over to the right. Open up that left rib. Just keep breathing into this. Inhale back up. Now over to the left. Exhale. Now just slowly breathe into that open right rib. Breathe in, come up. And breathe in, come up on the toes. And then back down to the heels and then forward fold. Breathe in, come halfway up. And exhale, go all the way back down to the mat, Chaturanga. Breathe in, Cobra. And then push back up into a downward facing dog. Breathe in, raise the hips up, and then slowly walk forward to the front of the mat. Breathe in halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, round the arms, come all the way up to the sky. Palms together. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale to the right. Breathe in, back to center. Exhale to the left. Breathe in, back to center. Exhale. And then breathe in, up on the toes, high as you can. Reach fingers, tips, and exhale, heels down, and forward fold all the way. Breathe in halfway up, then exhale, Chaturanga Dandasana, all the way to the mat. Cobra, or upward facing dog. Breathe in, and then exhale, downward facing dog. Okay, for the power of 3, breathe in, raise the hips, and slowly walk all the way to the front of your mat. A nice forward fold, exhale. Breathe in, halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, round the arms all the way up to the sky, palms together. Exhale to the right.
Breathe in, back to center. Reach up. Exhale to the left. Breathe in, back to center. Exhale. And a big breath in. Come up on the toes. Reach the fingers as high to the sky as you can. And exhale, drop the heels and forward fold. Breathe in halfway up. And exhale. You got it. Chaturanga Dandasana. All the way to the mat. Breathe in, Cobra, or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Body's starting to get a little bit warmer, We're going to make sure our left foot stays down and bring our right foot to the sky for three-legged dog. Exhale, bring the right knee to the right elbow for a hovering plank. Send the foot back up to the sky and bring it all the way to the top of the mat. Long runner's lunge. Come up for crescent lunge. Sit here and breathe into this. Remember, keep strength in that right knee. You should be able to look down and see your big right toe just to the inside of your right knee. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, let's twist to the right. Breathe in, reach up. Then exhale, Vinyasa, all the way to the mat, Chaturanga. Breathe in, Cobra, and exhale, downward facing dog. Let's take the left foot, three-legged dog, pierce it to the sky, and bring the left knee to the left elbow, hovering plank. Pierce it back to the sky, and bring that left foot to the top of the mat. Come up for crescent lunge on the left side. Breathe in, reach the hands, open that midsection zipper up through the abdominals. Look down, make sure that left knee is nice and squared up with the ankle. Breathe in, reach up. Exhale, twist to the left. And back to crescent lunge. Breathe in, all the way up. And Chaturanga, all the way down to the mat. Cobra, or upward facing dog. And push up into a downward facing dog. Let's get through 2 more rounds of that. Bring that right foot up to the sky. Bring it to the right knee, to right elbow. And back to the sky. And bring it back. Place it all the way to the front of the mat. Come up for crescent lunge. And twist to the right. Breathe in, reach up, and then Vinyasa, all the way to the mat. Chaturanga, our yogi push-up. Breathe in, Cobra, and then exhale, downward facing dog. To the left foot, to the sky. Left knee, left elbow. Exhale. Breathe in, left foot to the sky. Exhale, all the way to the front of the mat. Breathe in, come up for crescent lunge. Remember to stay on those back right toes. A nice twist to the left. Extend those fingers. Breathe in, back to crescent lunge. Exhale, Vinyasa, all the way to the mat. Cobra, or upward facing dog. And then exhale, into downward facing dog. Last round. Right foot to the sky. Right knee, right elbow, and pierce it back. Bring it all the way to the front of the mat. Come up, crescent lunge. Twist to the right. Breathe in, come back up, crescent lunge. Vinyasa, all the way to the mat. Breathe in, Cobra, or upward facing dog. Tuck the toes, push back into a downward facing dog. Left foot to the sky. Left knee, left elbow. Pierce your foot back to the sky and then bring it to the front of the mat. Come up, crescent lunge. Exhale, twist to the left. Breathe in, crescent lunge. Then exhale, vinyasa, chaturanga, dandasana. Breathe in, cobra. And exhale, downward facing dog. Take a big breath in through the nose and out through the mouth. And breathe in, push up through the hips, and either step or jump all the way forward in the front of your mat. A nice forward fold. Breathe in halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Feet together, bend at the knees. We're going to come into a chair pose. Sit back on the heels, off the toes, lengthen the back, the hands to the sky. Bring your hands to prayer, or Anjali Mudra. I'm going to do a chair twist to the right. Remember to try to keep the knees together and the feet locked separately. You don't want one knee jutting out further than the other. So let's take our left elbow and place it over our right knee and just twist. Breathe into this twist. For 3 breaths. Back to center. Straighten the legs, hands down to the mat, forward fold. Breathe in halfway up. Exhale, bend at the knees, come into chair pose. Bring your hands to prayer, or Anjali Mudra. Chair twist to the left. Remember to keep the knees in line with each other. And when you're in breath, stretch that back out just a little bit. Exhale, twist just a tiny bit further. Then back to center. Straighten the knees, forward fold. Inhale halfway up. Exhale, forward fold. Breathe in, come all the way to the sky. Hands down to center. Anjali Mudra. From this position, we're going to sit heavy in our left foot and bring our right foot, our right knee, up to our chest best we can. If you don't have the great balance, you can lean on a wall or a table. And take the palm of your right foot, place it on the inside of your left thigh. You can raise your hands like a giant tree, or you can bring them to prayer. Most important thing in tree pose is to open the hips. So this is actual hip opener. And just sit here and focus your gaze, your drishti, on something out in front of you. Just sit here and trust your balance. Don't be so rigid. Trees sway, they stand. Big breath in, bring your knee back up to your chest and set it back down to the ground. Nice. These poses help teach us balance, not only on the mat, but also in life. Bring your left knee up to your chest as high as you can. And take the left palm of your foot, place it on the inside of your right thigh. To bring your hands to Anjali Mudra, or open them up to keep a little more balance. And like before, you can lean on a chair, a wall, a table. The important thing is to open that hip. And keep that gaze out in front of you, that drishti, that million-mile stare, where the focus is nothing else but you. And remember to breathe here. Bring that knee all the way back up. Exhale. Bring your foot to the mat. Breathe in, round the arms all the way to the sky. Then exhale, forward fold all the way down to the fingertips to the mat.
Breathe in halfway up. And exhale all the way. Chaturanga, Dandasana, all the way down. Yogi push-up. Cobra or upward facing dog. Then exhale into a downward facing dog. Now notice how much different this downward facing dog feels than all the rest. Feels really, really good. We still have a little bit more fire, a little bit more work to get through. So let's roll our bodies up into a plank position. And to modify this side plank on the right side, I'll show you first. You can drop your right knee, take your right foot, lay it off to the side of the mat, and then turn to the right, raising your left hand to the sky, remembering not to collapse onto that right shoulder. We're creating space, akasha. We want to open up those joints and those hips. This is a modified version. If you'd like to test yourself and try a little bit more, you can extend that right foot straight out. Lay the left foot on top of it. Remembering to lift that left hip up just a little bit. Sit here. Just challenge yourself. Remembering not to collapse into that right shoulder. Bring your left hand, follow it all the way to the mat. Bring your left elbow to the mat. Roll over on the left side into forearm plank on the left side. And remember, modification would be to drop your left knee and bring your left foot off the back side of the mat. Now bring your right hand down into full forearm plank. If you want to get a little bit more out of this full forearm plank, imagine taking your elbows and pulling them back to your feet. And just breathe here. Inhale, come back up into full plank. Modified would be to drop your knees, and then Chaturanga, Dandasana. All the way to the mat. Cobra or upward facing dog. Then push up in a downward facing dog. If you're getting a little tired here, you can always drop into child's pose, which your knees would be the mat's width apart, toes to touch, and drop your forehead to the mat. If you'd like to test a little further in this plank position, let's roll to the left. Plank on the left side. Remember not to collapse into that left shoulder. And just breathe. Take your left hand and arm all the way to the mat for forearm plank on the right side. Don't collapse into that right shoulder. And reach up through the left hand to the sky. Now bring that left forearm all the way down to full forearm plank. Remember to get a little more. Let's go 5 breaths. Pull those elbows to the feet. 1, 2, 3. Remember to modify is to drop the knees. 4 and 5. Sink all the way. Belly to the mat. Nice. Elbows up under the shoulders. Palms flat. For Sphinx pose, if this is too much for you, just kind of sink into your shoulders a little bit and open your legs a little wider if that lower back is bothering you. Remember to breathe into this. We're now starting to cool the body down. Take the hands, place them under the shoulders, push back up into a downward facing dog. Set the knees down and crawl the knees forward all the way around. Become seated. And take the right foot, kind of place it under your left buttocks, your left hip. You can take your left foot and place it over your right knee. Twisting sage to the right. Raise the arms to the sky. Twist to the right. You can grab that left elbow, wrap it around the left knee. Place your right hand to the back of the mat. Your gaze can go over your right shoulder. Breathe in, extend the spine. Exhale, twist just a tiny bit more. Football is the game of inches. Yoga is the game of centimeters. You don't want to overdo it. Return the gaze back to the front of the mat. Come out of the twist. Now take your left foot, place it under your right hip. Your right foot over your left knee. Reach up and then we'll twist to the left. Wrap that right knee. Left arm to the back. Gaze over the left shoulder. And breathe into this. Return your gaze back to the front of the mat. Extend the feet out straight. Raise the arms to the sky for a seated forward fold. You can grab your knees, your shins, your feet, whatever you're comfortable in. What's most important is not feel pain, but feel that tiny bit of stretch that it's not a hurting feeling. It's a longing. It's a nice, beautiful, relaxing bend all the way from your tailbone. You can drop your head and feel it all the way up to the back of your neck. Breathe in, extend the spine, and exhale. You can just fall into the fold just a little bit more. Breathe in, easily come out of this. And another nice little pose I like to do is butterfly pose, seated. Take the palms of your feet, place them together. And you can either take your elbows and place them on the inside of your knees and grab your wrists, your ankles, and just pull your body forward to where you're comfortable. Or you can grab your toes, cup your toes with your hands, pull forward. I like to kind of engage this position a little more to where my knees are touching my elbows and my hands are grabbing my ankles. And I'm opening up and I feel this stretch on the inside of my thighs, my groin area. A couple more breaths here. Breathe in, easily come up out of this pose. And extend the feet out. Let's lay all the way back on our backs for a final few stretches. Bring your knees all the way up to your chest. Pull them in, give a nice big hug. And then twist over to the right, both knees to the right. If you'd like, you could take your right hand, place it on your left knee. Your left hand is extended out to your left side. Your gaze, you can bring it over to your left. Shoulders flat on the mat. With the aid of your right hand, bring your knees back up to center. Pull your knees in for another nice hug to reset that spine. Then bring your knees all the way over to the left side, the left space of your mat. Your right hand extended out to the right. Your gaze can be over your right hand. Your left hand can be placed on your right knee to give it a little extra pressure in the twist. Just be sure your shoulders are flat on the mat. If they're not, just ease up out of that twist just a little bit. These supine twists, seated or lying down, are so good for our men's digestive health, women too. But as for men, we always seem to be on the run, just cramming food and down our throat whenever we can, and our digestive system's always so screwy. And this really helps with our digestive system. A nice little twisting workout every day will help you. With the aid of your left hand, bring your knees back to center, pull them into your chest and reset that spine. Then extend those feet out all the way to the bottom of your mat. And just sit here and relax. For our final little breath work we're going to do is some 4-part breath or box breath. You take your right hand, lay it on your belly, left hand on your chest. And we're going to do 3 rounds of this. You're going to breathe in to the belly and feel that belly rise for 4 seconds for the count of 4. And then you're going to hold it for the count of 4. And then you'll exhale for the count of 4. You're going to hold it for the count of 4. We're going to repeat that process 3 times. Begin, breathe in. 3, 2, 1. Hold. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 3, 2, 1. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 3, 2, 1. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 3, 2, 1. And hold. 3, 2, 1. Take a big breath in through the nose. Giant, fill up the belly and the lungs, and an exhale through the mouth. Lion's breath. Now lay your palms down by your side, palms facing up. Relax onto the mat. Relax the center of your back, the lower center of your back to the mat. Let the feet splay out. You can close down the eyes. And come back to your normal rhythmic breath. Just noticing a tiny pause between the in-breath and the out-breath. And just know that this breath is what takes you through life. And half the time, well, I would say the majority of the time, we don't even realize we're doing it. So if we focus on our breath, it brings us back to center, or we can focus on our families, our kids, our wife, our friends, our loved ones, be a better version of ourselves. You can sit here in silence for a minute for Shavasana. And slowly begin to wiggle the toes. Feel how the ankles just so full of vitality and relaxation all at the same time. Feel the calves on the bottom of the mat. Feel the tiny little space between the back of the knees and the mat, that air flowing through there. Now your hips, how they're relaxed all the way down. Your back is completely calmed and relaxing on the mat.
Notice how your air is going into your belly, slowly up and down. And now your shoulders, nice and comfortable. And wiggle your fingers just a little bit. And release the tip of your tongue from the top of your mouth. Slowly blink open your eyes. I want you to take your body and roll it over to your right side. Like you're laying on the sofa. You can lay your head on your right arm. Take your left arm and place it back behind your back. We're showing our truth, our sattva. Opening up our heart to the sky. Because there's one thing we are all going to go to our grave with. That is our truth. So what do you want your truth to be? With the aid of your left hand, push yourself back up into a seated position. Nice cross-legged seated position. Your hands to prayer. If you'd like, you can bring your hands to your third eye, or just keep them right here at your heart. And thank you for showing up to the mat today. Thank you for loving yourself. And remember, the light and the love in me honors and respects the light and the love in you. Namaste.